This is a press conference with J. Krishnamurti in Madras, 1980.
Would you like to say something, sir, to start with?
No, sir, we'll start.
Sir, let us have a look at the world situation, moral deterioration, and take a review of that. What can be done about it? Because now there is deteriorating moral standards throughout the world. There is violence, and it is increasing. What can be done about it? The world appears to, humanitarian world appears to go to disaster, heading towards disaster.
Sir, if I may ask, please, it's a dialogue, so don't. There's moral deterioration, violence of every kind in the world. What is the real root of it? Not what should be done, but rather what is the whole process of life that has brought this about? You understand my question, sir? Not what should be done, that comes much later, but why human beings throughout the world have become such extraordinarily violent, brutal, careless, all that, utterly immoral. Why? What is the process that has brought this about?
How do we go about answering this question?
What, sir?
How do we go about answering this question?
We are doing it now. We're having a dialogue.
No, but first of all, I suppose we start with why do we feel the necessity for changing at all?
But do you accept things as they are?
I mean, if I don't accept, is it not a deficiency on my part?
Why should I accept violence? Why should I accept corruption? These terrible wars that are going on, why should I accept all that?
But they are going on. Whether you accept it, but they are going on.
They are going on, but there's no question of accepting it. There they are. I don't quite follow your question, sir.
But we are helpless spectators. We can't do anything.
Obviously, you can't do anything about the Iranian war or the Russians. But what has man done to bring all this about?
I suppose it all started with the war within oneself.
Would you agree to that? It's just a theory.
No, but that is more real to me than, say, the Iranian war.
Sir, I would like to discuss, if I may, have a dialogue, why human mind has so far deteriorated that has come to this point. What is the process of it?
But doesn't that already imply a scale of values? If I say that the human mind, if we go into the question now, why the human mind has deteriorated so far, to such an extent, it already implies a definition of deterioration.
Deterioration means that which has, from the highest to the lowest. That's the whole meaning of deterioration.
So it already implies a knowledge of what is the highest.
No, it has reached a certain point and is declining. Technologically, it has achieved a certain point, and that technology is being used for national wars. Right?
Yeah, right.
Which is a deterioration. Killing another is immoral, right? That's all we are saying.
Sir, we understand the process.
Huh?
We understand the process, how this deterioration has come.
Have we?
Yes. Each man wants to live for himself.
Yes, sir.
So from that point, let us
Start.
And this has happened, he has begun to live for himself, which probably in the ancient past, he was living for, at least partly for others. But then gradual deterioration, he is now he lives for himself. Not only he lives for himself, but at the expense of others.
Sir, himself is identified with a community.
Yes. No, the individual.
Yes, sir. individual can't exist by himself. He must be related to something, whether it's family, society, nation.
He is related to his little self.
So, suppose I am concerned about myself, right, sir?
Yes.
But I must be related to somebody.
Related to my body.
All right, but I'm related to my wife, my children,
Through the body.
through the body, through the mind,
Through the
through the
senses.
emotions, through my anger, through everything. Both psychologically as well as physically, I must have a relationship with another, otherwise I can't exist.
Why is existence per se an existence without relationship to anything else?
Can there be? Do you exist without?
No, sir, I value that relationship because it subserves my interests.
Yes,
I want to exist.
your interests, your pleasure, your attachments, your ambitions, your envies and so on. All that in relation to something.
So materialism and acquisitiveness and feeling that these alone are going to safeguard my future security, physical security as well, isn't it?
So even my physical security, one's physical security depends on another.
Absolutely, but we make our own small circles of family and a small community and live up to only that.
Small family, community, nation,
Yes.
and then different nations, they're all interrelated.
Yes, we see that as an obvious fact, but how are we going to get out of this vicious circle? That's the dilemma in which all of us who have listened to you face all the time in our everyday life. Because we are torn by
Is it,
conflict.
sir, if I may ask, is it what to do?
Yes.
Understand? What is the pattern of action?
Yes.
Or is it the quality of the mind, which we must first understand, that has brought this about? I don't know if I'm making myself clear.
Yes, the quality of the mind in the individual.
Not mind.
Oh.
So, first of all, if you will forgive me, is there an individual?
Yes.
Huh? What is that?
This, this,
What, sir?
this body and senses.
What is an individual? Are you an individual?
Yes.
You think you are. Are you
No,
actually?
I think I am.
Yeah. You think you are an individual, but are you actually? You are the result of your culture. You are the result of your climate, food, your tradition. You are the result of your father, the beliefs, the superstitions, the whole environmental process which has made you what you are.
Yes.
That means I am entirely defined by a product of relationships, isn't it?
Partly, not entirely.
No, to the extent that I have been a product of the community, the family,
The
The
tradition,
superstitions, the
the
culture.
literature.
to that extent I am a function of certain relationships.
I'm only pointing out, sir, that you are the result of all the environmental influences, right? Of all the genetic, heredity, economic, all those pressures have brought us about to be what we are.
Yes.
And what we are, we say, how can we change this? Right?
Right.
But before we say, what can I do, let's examine how this has happened.
But
You-
should we also, don't we also need to examine why do I feel the necessity for a change?
Right, sir. If you have pain, do you want to change?
Yes.
Why?
That is purely, by definition, instinctive.
Pain. No, pain. When a man sees what the world is, it's painful. It's
it-
not theoretically painful, actually it's painful. Life has become existence has become most dangerous, right? Uncertain, overpopulated, etc., etc., etc. And that has become tremendously dangerous. And if you accept, you say, why should I change that? Either you put up with it, right? Or one is a neurotic, or you say, but there's something must be done about it.
Yeah, but am I sure every time I want to change, am I sure that I'm not asking for change purely because it's become fashionable to do so?
Oh, no, that's too silly.
So why is it that only a few people want this change? The majority are content with what is, I mean, as things are, they say it's karma or it's...
That's all excuses, sir.
No, but why does the human mind accept things?
It's most convenient. Well, I'll be very simple about this. It's very convenient to accept that there is God, that there is karma, but we don't examine the deeper issues. I asked you questions, so if I may repeat again. Are you an individual?
Maybe at the
Because we are,
superficial
the
level.
very meaning, as you have explained so many times, it has not been properly understood even when we call ourselves individuals.
The meaning of that word means undivided.
Yes.
Right, sir?
Yes.
Right? Indivisible.
We are not that.
We are not that. We are broken up human beings. Right? In ourselves, there is conflict, there is division. I am a Hindu, I am a Buddhist, I am...
Sir, I am an individual because with my present mind, conditioned mind, I think I am an individual.
Yeah.
Therefore, I am an individual. And
So you say by your thinking you become an individual.
yes,
Now, what makes you think that?
because I have got a body, I got my own. I have got my own body. I have-
Your body,
Yes.
your form,
Yes.
your name,
Yes, which is different from others.
somewhat.
Somewhat, yes. Somewhat, yes. So I am an individual.
So you think you are an
Yes, I think I am an individual.
Now, what
And
makes you...
thinking leads me to the
Yes,
condition.
sir. What makes you think you're an individual?
Because this
You've said that, sir. Name, form, character, color, short, tall, brown, white, pink, whatever it is. But, so thinking makes you an individual?
yes. Unless I get out of my thinking.
I bet, sir.
So long as I don't get out of my thinking, I am an individual.
So, you are saying you are an individual because you think,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Now, what is thinking?
No, but to revert to the first question, am I an individual? The first thing was, I am pained, so I want to change. Now, how does this relate? I mean, why should I need to answer the question whether I am an individual or not? To find out.
Sir, this gentleman began by saying that each person, being individual, is acting on his own. We're all separate individuals, and so each operating on his own, therefore they are in conflict with each other, right? That conflict identified with the nation, with the group, and so on. So there's constant war, struggle, strife between human beings. That's what he began by saying, right, sir? And he says, how can we end that? That's the whole point of that question. And you are saying, why should we want to change?
Yeah.
Why don't we accept things as they are?
No, but that was answered by saying that if I am pained, then I want to change.
Huh?
The answer for that was that it's because I feel the pain I want to change.
See, that's all.
Right, but from that, where do we go?
No, before you act, I'm trying to say, it's important to find out why the human mind, the mind, has become like this.
Yes.
You understand, sir? Why?
A matter of convenience.
Huh?
A matter of convenience.
No,
rather than
that's
choice.
too superficial quick. Why has the human mind... Now, let's examine. What do we mean by the mind?
Yes.
The brain, right? All the reactions that arise from the brain, your emotions, your responses, right?
Right.
So, when we use the word mind, it covers that whole field,
Yes.
right, sir? Right?
Right.
Now, what has happened to that mind which has brought about this condition? Before you understand why the mind has become like this, you can't act,
Yes.
right?
Right.
So why?
Yeah. Before that, we were going into the question of what is the mind.
I explained, sir.
Yes, but can't it be made simpler? I mean, emotions,
Yeah,
brain,
which means consciousness. Would you like to use that word?
mind is consciousness.
Huh?
You're saying mind is consciousness.
Of course,
The entire
of
spectrum
course.
is consciousness.
Your consciousness is made up of all the things you believe, right? What you don't believe, your reactions, and so on, so on, so on. All that's your consciousness. That's your mind.
Coming back to the very first question, he asked, if I may repeat it, is there any hope for this world as it is today? Is that not possible when you asked? Is there any hope for this world from the way things are today?
No, not exactly.
That's
We are
another
now-
question.
We are now going into the problem.
Yeah, into the problem we are going.
So Krishnaji was mentioning about mind. We
Yes,
can
sir.
conclude that.
Now, is your mind, different from the other human mind? This is a really important question, so to answer this.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Excuse me, sir. I think, therefore I am.
I
Seems
know.
to be a metaphysical question. But I think most of the pressmen here are preoccupied with more mundane questions.
Yes,
If
sir.
I may
Bring in
bring
mundane
down
questions.
the
Come down to the
lower
earth.
level.
Right, come down to earth.
Many teachers lay the stress on self-knowledge and self-improvement. Perhaps yourself also, understanding the mind and everything. I don't say that you do it, but many teachers lay the stress on self-knowledge and self-improvement. But in a society like ours, where the state and collective organizations impinge on the life of the individual, I mean, is there no need for some collective action when things go wrong? And how do we initiate that?
So, collective action only takes place in war. Right?
War could be of different, not only a war and armed,
So, wait,
armed
sir,
war.
wait, sir. Collective action takes place in war. Is there any collective action outside war? Right?
You mean war in only a armed war or any kind of
Any
war for
kind
freedom
of
or war?
any kind of crisis, there's collective action. If this house burns, we all collect to put it
Right.
out. Right? If there is an earthquake, people gather together and do all that, which is any kind of crisis brought about by human being or by nature, there is collective action. Right, sir? Apart from that, is there a collective action?
But are we not in that facing that kind of crisis? now?
That's what I am saying, sir.
No, but the interpretation given in terms of modern societies is this going to the polls and elections is collective action. And it stops with that, and so
So
everything has
you
got to
elect
be-
a politician.
Yes.
Will the politician solve our problems?
He's supposed to.
No. Suppose, but actually doesn't. Right, sir?
But he's the only person who is given the authority.
I know, but that authority has not exercised all the rest of it. So do you look to a politician to bring about regeneration of man?
Not regeneration of man, but at least organizing
No,
the society, he is left to himself. And we are dependent wholly on him, and we have surrendered ourselves to him.
So what has happened? If you have given your souls, your bodies, your thought over to a politician,
No, the system is that, and so we
I
have become
agree,
helpless.
sir, that is the system.
We have become helpless victims of a system.
Are you helpless? You see, so we don't
Yeah.
pursue one subject to the end. We're,
At least we have delegated our responsibility to a group of individuals for a time being, for a given period.
would you do that in war?
Or
I
any
will
other
say,
variety
I
of-
want to be more precise.
Yes.
You do that in war. You do that in a crisis.
No, in crisis
So-
we don't do that.
Huh?
In crisis, whenever we face a moment of crisis, we don't delegate all our powers to one individual. We rather fight it
To a
out
group
together.
of people. That's what that gentleman is saying. So what is the crisis now? Let's begin.
No,
sir.
that's where.
Yes.
Now, what is the crisis now? You gentlemen are all familiar with it. Please tell me.
What I
No, sir, we want your, if I may, please forgive me, as reporters of newspapers, we want your definition of the crisis and your solution of the how to overcome the crisis. This is specifically what the newspapers want to give to the readers, as from you.
All right, sir. What is the crisis?
As many people feel it.
No, he's going to explain.
Submit, submit, submit.
He'll explain it at his level, but we understand it at a very, very ordinary level.
I'm ordinary level.
So many of us feel a crisis of different kinds. First, material crisis. We don't get the things that we want. Sugar, consumer
Yes, sir.
products, so
Yes,
many
sir.
other things.
Yes.
People starve.
Yeah.
Another, moral crisis, the crisis of character. We can't believe anybody. They don't do what they promise to do. They say one thing and do another.
Quite right.
There are crises of various kinds.
So-
crisis of character at various
So
levels.
how would you epitomize or put all that into one word?
moral crisis.
Would you call it moral? A crisis in consciousness? A crisis in the mind of humanity? I'm not talking at the ground level, grassroots level. So where would you call the crisis? It involves all this, doesn't
Yes,
it?
it's crisis at all the levels.
At all the levels of our human existence, there is a crisis. Right? Crisis in religion, crisis in economy, crisis in politics, crisis in our daily life. Right? Would you agree to all that, sir?
Yes.
Now, what has brought about this crisis? Before we say what to do, you understand? We're always asking what to do. But we never say what has brought this about. And if we understand what is the root of all this, from the understanding of that we can act. I don't know if I make myself clear. That's clear, sir. Right? Are we examining the symptoms and trying to answer the symptoms or the cause? I want to be clear on that point.
We should understand the diseases first.
Yes,
Huh?
sir. But only one thing, if I may. You would forgive me.
Yes,
Suppose
sir.
a patient
Yes.
is suffering from something,
Cancer.
whatever it is, cancer, he's involved in an accident, his legs are
Yes,
broken.
yes, yes,
Is the
yeah.
doctor, of course, could know the history of the case, but is it not his business to apply some immediate remedy?
Yes, but what does he do? First finds out the cause of it. Suppose I have cancer. He examines me and says, you have got cancer. He has already found out the cause, and then he can act, right? Apparently we prevent ourselves from when we say action and not the cause. I don't know if I...
No, but
We're
what about
always,
the-
if you forgive me, we're always asking what shall we do? We never ask what is the cause of all this. If you find out the cause, then action will follow. But if you don't find out the cause and say, well, I must act, it's like, it leads to more confusion.
Sir, what according to Krishnaji is the cause?
Because
we will take Krishnaji as the doctor.
Right, sir, I'm not the doctor. We're all doctors. Let's go. What is the cause of all this?
According to me, it is acquisitiveness, greed,
What?
materialism, acquisitiveness,
No,
greed,
that's a-
and
that-
preoccupation only with material well-being.
No, sir. When you use the word material, what do you mean by that word? I'm sticking to the ground level.
Security.
What does that mean, materialism?
Acquisition of wealth.
What, sir?
Acquisition of wealth. More wealth.
Is that what you call materialism?
Whatever gives pleasure
World
to
of
the
matter.
senses.
So look. You think differently, he thinks.
Yes.
Follow?
Materialism is the world of matter.
What is matter, sir? Then? You see, when you use that word, sir, materialism, what is there? And there is this word, materialism and spiritualism, right? The two. Now, what do you mean by materialism? Acquisition of wealth, right? Power, position, right? And knowledge. Right, sir?
Yes, all the matter that we perceive through our senses.
Yes. And our senses say, if you are wealthy, you'll be happy. You have more food, more clothes, better house, cars, right? And you call that materialism, is it?
Acquiring more and more of objects which satisfy the senses.
Yes, sir?
That is,
And that which doesn't satisfy the senses, you call spiritualism? Spirit of the mind.
no,
I do. You're also.
Materialism.
You're also, sir. That's what I'm saying.
So included in materialism is what goes on in the name of religion. Lot
Of course.
No, spiritualism is not what doesn't satisfy the senses. Something more than that.
Yes, sir. So let's come down to broad, simple. So you're all. What is the crisis, sir? Is not the crisis the human mind, right? Right?
yes.
Yeah. Would you agree to that, sir? I'm not climbing the Everest. I'm talking plain earth. My feet are on the ground. I say, what is this crisis? There's crisis in America, crisis in England, Russia. Everywhere the human beings are in a crisis. Crisis being uncertain, insecure, right? Violence, war, conflict, all that is what we call crisis. Right, sir? Now, what has brought this about? Before we can act, doctor examines you, takes time, right? So we are examining the cause of all this.
In terms of first principles, right. But in terms of immediate needs for the situation, can we afford to do that always?
We are doing, otherwise you're acting blindly. Doctor doesn't say, let's operate immediately. He examines you. He takes time.
But how about first aid, in the sense that some immediate relief we give, first aid, before the operation is conducted?
You want first aid? Then go to the politicians.
Not only first aid, even the doctor won't begin the study of pathology and everything at that time. He has some ready-made remedies for what we need.
He gives you a pill if you're very agitated and very anxious and sleepy because you're worried about your pain, he gives you a sedative, right? Do you want a sedative? Is that action?
Yes, sir. Till the doctor begins treatment for a permanent cure, the sedatives do a lot of good.
Good. But first examines you, for God's sake, sir. The doctor says, come tomorrow. He puts me in a chair and talks to me about his about your health. That you've got this pain, that pain, you don't sleep properly. You explain to him. He becomes a diagnostician, and so he begins to examine. That's time. If you are in acute pain, he said, take this pill and quiet down, come tomorrow.
So since I am the doctor and the patient myself.
Are you sure?
No. With regard to oneself,
I'm not talking oneself, sir.
No.
I am talking.
So we have to immediately cut off the time process, otherwise I don't change.
We are asking what is the crisis.
Yes.
Sir, if you will please pardon me, as a patient, I have come to Dr.
Good.
Krishnaji.
Yes, good. Now I am examining. I say, what is the crisis, sir? You are the patient, you must
I
answer.
have told the doctor about my
No, I'm asking you.
about my
I'm
complaints.
asking you. You are your patient. I say to you, what is the crisis you are faced with?
This uncertainty, insecurity.
Now,
My
go
life
ahead.
is there are no moral values. Everywhere I find violence.
Corruption.
That is.
And I say to you, all right, I know that too, my friend. Let us find out before we do anything, what is the reason for this?
That is, I have left to the doctor to find out.
And,
I leave it to the doctor.
wait, sir. Then what does that mean? That's what you have done by leaving to the politician, by leaving to the economist, by leaving it to the guru, by leaving it to a... So, you are accepting authority which will solve your problem. Right, sir? Right? That may be the cause. Right?
Now, I have not gone to politician. I have gone to Krishnaji,
I-
who has analyzed.
Yes, sir, I'm
who is
doing
the
this.
Top doctor.
Wait, sir, you missed my point. You've come to me as a top doctor or a top guru, which I'm not. Or you come to me and I said, my friend, tell me what your trouble.
I have
You have
told.
told me. I say, what is the cause of this? Are you eating rightly?
Cause as a patient, I do not know.
I'm asking you, sir. I'm examining what kind of food you eat. Do you eat hot food? Do you eat cold food? Do you sleep properly? So I'm examining you. But if you say to me, you are the authority, tell me all about it, then you become my slave.
No, a patient is not a slave to the doctor. Yeah, it's not a slave.
I have said that, sir. I have to ask you questions, haven't I?
Yeah, I answered.
So, what have you answered me?
Yes, I have told you my complaint.
What are your
And
complaints?
it is up to the doctor to find out diagnose the
Sir,
cause.
have you been to a doctor?
Yes.
How does he diagnose you? By asking you a question.
Question also
Huh?
some laboratory tests.
Yes, blood and all the rest of it. But first he asks,
Yes,
huh?
I tell you.
You tell him. Then he examines, goes into the blood, urine, heart, pulse, and all the business. And then he decides what it is. Right? You want me to do that?
Yes.
Now, what does that mean?
Because
Find out, sir.
Because
Find out.
already Krishnaji has developed that expertise to diagnose and to give treatment.
I understand your questions. I understand what you're saying, but you're not looking at my point of view. Just look at it for a while. You are the patient, I'm the doctor. You have explained to me everything about yourself. And I have to decide what medicine to give you. Right? Now, I say, is the crisis between a doctor and a patient? Is there a doctor at all in this crisis? I wonder if you see this.
But sir, in his case, the questions and answers may be more complex, but at a certain level, they could be simple. So somebody, A, he wants food, he wants clothing, he wants shelter.
Right.
And
Those are the three essential
Yes.
things. Now, who is going to supply them? The function of the government. Right? The government is elected by you, by voting, all that business. Or totalitarianism. Right? In this country, it happens to be so-called democratic. You may sneer at it, but it is so-called democratic. So you leave to the government to organize all this. Right? Has the government organized all this? Right? They are on side of it.
We can't take the law into our own hands. We
So
have-
government has failed. Right?
Yes.
Then what will you do? Take your law into your own hands? Each person takes law into his own hands. Do you know what will happen? Chaos, which is happening. So what will you do? Either have a dictator, right? So what are the crises I'm again repeating? Come down to earth now. What is the crisis?
Crisis is I can't act myself.
Huh?
I'm not acting myself.
Inaction.
That's the crisis.
Haven't you given over your responsibility to another?
Yes.
Right, sir? Would you agree to that?
For the time being, not permanently.
Haven't you permanently given it over?
I
To your
would like to-
wait, sir, to your priest, to the book, to the tradition, to the general, to the professional. You've given it all over to them and say, solve our problems. Right, sir? And I say that is one of the reasons of this chaos. Because we are not responsible for ourselves. Because we are corrupt, and therefore government is corrupt. Right, sir? We are irresponsible, therefore government is irresponsible. But if you say, I am responsible for what I do, which means I won't be corrupt. Right, sir? That is one of the reasons of this crisis. We're all becoming irresponsible. Would you agree to that, sir?
So,
Will you, as journalists, who inform the reader, will you be responsible? Or are you playing into the hands of your editor?
all the time.
All the time.
Yes, sir. That's all.
So,
Wait, sir. So the editor decides what you should write. The editor
Rather the proprietor.
is the proprietor. The proprietor is interested in money, position, power. So you handed everything over to him.
Yeah.
So you are irresponsible.
And he is guided by the politician.
Of course.
Sir, because of this complicated situation in which we are caught up, we were all happy that the entire government, as represented in the individual of Mrs. Gandhi, when she came to see you, we thought the problems are going to get sorted out.
Oh.
I mean, it is wrong. Wrong in thinking.
So easy as all that,
No,
is it?
that's why so much publicity was given, and we were all happy that the very top person is going to change, and so there's going to be
Change?
big
Sir,
changes.
please, sir. Please don't put words into my mouth.
No.
This is what you thought.
Yes.
I don't know what What the result is, up to you.
Apart from certain individuals, we know that in certain systems, they have solved the problem of, to a limited extent, of what I mentioned, like food, clothing and shelter.
Where?
In certain countries.
Yes, sir. Where?
I mean, they may not have solved the problem of freedom and of higher problems.
No, no. Yes, sir. Please, sir. Certain countries have solved the food, clothing, food. Right?
Yes.
Partially.
That is better than...
Well, I agree. That's partially. There is no freedom. There's complete authority. No freedom of speech, etc., etc. I don't know where this is happening, where people are assured of food, clothing, and shelter. Where? Which country?
From newspaper reports, USSR and China.
Is that so?
That's, I have not gone to...
Others say go into the country, you'll find the opposite. So you see, what are we concerned about? There is a crisis in the world, right? That crisis is that human beings, which is you and I, have become utterly irresponsible for our actions.
So shall we pursue the question? Can I know when I am responsible? That is, the manifestations of irresponsibility.
Which are what? Let's examine that.
Yes, sir.
When you hand yourself over to an authority. Right? That is a basic cause of this thing. When Guru becomes important and he tells you what to do, you handed yourself over to him. Remember, there is a lovely cartoon or a comedian in England who assumes Guru, puts on a robes and garlands, all the rest of it, and lots of disciples around him. He talks about good life and all that, and presently he says, hand over all your property to me, all your money, you'll have no financial worries. Right, sir? That's what we have done. We have become irresponsible. And we say yes, but we won't become responsible. That's the calamity.
Sir, I may not even know when I am responsible.
I will show you, sir.
Yes, sir.
When you hand yourself over to a guru.
There is one aspect.
No, that's only the object. But the principle is that you have handed over yourself to somebody. Right, sir?
But even when they had handed over to someone elsewhere, they had at least a limited satisfaction of having their material wants met.
Sir, all right, you repeat that. Now, in a country like this, overpopulated, no birth control, right? Whatever the government is, what are you going to do? You can give the poor beggar 10 rupees, but you're not going to solve the problem. Right, sir? What will you, as a responsible human being, do? You see, you don't face that fact.
Yes, sir. Further, that would depend on why I hand over myself.
Why? Because it's much more convenient, thoughtless. If my guru says,
No, let us forget about the Guru, sir. No,
guru, I'm using that word guru in the sense politicians, economics, the specialists, all that.
no. You take the...
I said, don't slur it off. I said, when I say guru, your politician is the guru. Your general is the guru. Your specialist is the guru. Right? So you are now caught in that. If a professional says this should be done, you immediately obey him.
Why, sir?
Because it's a very simple answer. We don't want to think. We don't want to examine. We don't say, why should I hand myself over to you?
Even if we think, a radical social and economic change may involve consequences, it may not be convenient to those who think about it.
So, all right, let's go into it. What is society? Society, you just use that, society. What is it? Answer me, sir, you are all
A
the
group of
experts.
individuals
All
in
of
an
us
organized
are
form.
constituted.
What does that mean, sir?
You and I together. Seems to us,
What, is that what you call society?
to an extent, yes, where you don't isolate yourself. but
Which
you
means
keep-
what? Your relationship with another is society. My relationship to somebody is either kindliness, or I want to exploit him, or I want something from him, right? Or her, whatever it is. And that's the whole structure of our society. No? Probably you're bored by now.
No, sir.
Also, we have not even gone to the second step. Why we are irresponsible? Because we don't.
I have explained, sir. First, it's very comfortable and easy for someone to direct us. Right? That has been the pattern all along this culture. Right? Right, sir?
Yes.
Or quite sure. Don't. You have accepted, you are all along the line the experts, the specialists, those who are illumined, who have self-realized, whatever the word you use.
Ready-made formulas.
Huh?
Everybody wants ready-made formulas.
No, not only ready-made, because you object to be disturbed. You want a comfortable, easy way of living. That's all.
Obviously.
This is the fashion, sir. This is what.
Now, having realized this, where do we go? Next step.
Stop depending on another. You do depend on the postman, depend on the agriculturalist, right? And so on. But inwardly, don't depend on anybody.
Inwardly only or outwardly also?
How can you be outwardly not dependent?
But the system itself warrants a certain amount of dependence.
What?
The system itself warrants a certain amount of dependence.
Will you change the system which doesn't demand dependence? You're just.
It becomes necessary.
So, is the system going to shape your mind?
But we can't keep acting individually. I mean, when there is this tradition or culture or the lineup, as you say, of delegating responsibility, of handing over yourself.
First, see, sir, is that so or not?
It is so. That much is clear.
Now, the next question is, to be responsible, don't hand yourself over.
Even if we don't hand ourselves over to
Don't, sir, first.
Is that possible is what I want to know.
Of course.
It doesn't seem possible in this framework at all.
Then step out of the framework. You see, you want both ways. We want a good, healthy society, healthy human beings, and you won't do anything about it. You talk about it.
Now, can I be inwardly independent without being outwardly independent?
So what do you mean by inward?
In the sense that I don't psychologically hand myself over to the other
Now,
man.
wait, sir. Can that be done? Do it. See what it means.
Yeah, now before I try to do that, before I do it, what is the first step in doing it?
First step, to be aware that you are handed over psychologically to somebody.
Yes.
No. It's
I'm
just
not aware now. I'm just
that's all.
saying that I'm aware.
That's all. That's all. Then you're just playing with words. And you're playing with words that society is corrupt, we must do something about words. But when it comes to brass tacks, you don't do anything. That's it.
Yeah, but can't we go to the second step at least, theoretically? I mean, first step, I haven't taken the first step.
Then how can you go to the second step? What are you
Sir,
playing
if
at?
you will please excuse me.
Sir, there is nothing to excuse.
If you reduce it to the practical level,
I'm,
if you permit me to use the word individual level,
yes, yeah.
now how can I act independently
What, sir?
in this society which is corrupt? Because I am part of the society.
Yes.
The society which is corrupt.
So, society which is corrupt, and I have created that society,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You, your fathers, your grandfathers have created this monstrous society.
Yes.
So you are responsible for it,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Now, if you are serious, you say, now, as I am responsible, I must be absolutely incorruptible.
Yes, as part of the society.
Ah.
Yes. As the
You see, you're going off. You're playing
yes,
tricks.
as I said.
So you come to a doctor, we have analyzed this, doctor says, don't be absolutely be incorruptible.
So somehow you seem to suggest we are part of this corruption, because once you said when we pay taxes, we are contributing to war.
Sir, wait, sir, do look at it. This society is created by you, by me, by all of us, fathers, grandfathers. And the society is me.
As
It
And-
is, I have created it. Right?
yes.
So I must stop creating it.
But what do we do with all what has already been created, over which we have no
Right.
control?
You have created this, right? To stop that, I must stop creating that which has brought about this about, which means I must be absolutely integrity. I must have integrity. Not say one thing and do another. Will you do that? No. The doctor says that's the first pill you're going to take.
As a patient, I accept it. But
But you don't tell the doctor, but. He said, take the pill. This is the pill. You have created it, stop creating.
Stop creating further, agreed. But it's a Frankenstein monster that has been created already. How do we deal with
And
that?
by all of us moving away from the monster.
But there are so many patients who have not come to the doctor at all.
What, sir?
But there are so many patients who have not come to the doctor at all, and they keep creating it.
But you have come to the doctor.
Yes.
Begin.
Yes, we can begin not creating it. But see, the others are continuing to create it.
Let them, but you stop doing it.
sir,
You see,
But how does it solve the problem?
sir,
haven't you?
We might perhaps...
Sir, just, you're all playing with words. Haven't you? If all of us said, we have created this society and we are responsible for it, therefore let me be incorruptible. I'll have integrity in what I say. I won't be a hypocrite. You've changed it. You've changed your relationship.
sir, the problem is this, that I come to the doctor prescribes. I take the prescription, I follow his advice.
Do
But
you?
Yes. Yes, I follow his advice.
Wait, wait. You become incorruptible.
Yes, I become incorruptible.
Just words?
But no, persons like me who are, went to the doctor, they have been following, they have been obeying, taking the treatment and practicing it. But in spite of it, I will come to the point. In spite of it, for the past 50 years, as a patient, I have been practicing, I am rid of the disease. But the society continues the same, but in a much worse fashion.
Yes, sir. Because we are half-hearted about the whole matter.
No, sir, as a patient, I am wholehearted. As a patient, I am practicing.
All right, if you have...
I derive the benefit
Wait,
also.
sir. Have you stopped being hypocrite?
Yes. As your patient, yes.
Not my patient. The doctor says, take this pill.
No, yes, sir. I am all right. But and so many others
Hey,
like me.
So you are concerned about society outside you.
Yes.
So do something. Go and tell people not to
What is
corrupt.
it that's something that I can do?
Will you tell your son, your grandmother, your friends, don't be corrupt?
Yes.
And see that they're not corrupt.
Yes. Yes.
What happens?
This process has been going on for the past so many years.
Have they?
But in spite of
No,
it,
sir. Have
that is
they?
exactly the question which I asked first. This process has been going on for a number of years.
What?
This process of at the individual level.
Is that a fact?
Yes, sir.
You don't play with words with me, sir, please.
Sir, coming to our work for our newspaper readers, may I ask you, please forgive me for asking, did Mrs. Gandhi come to you as a patient to a doctor?
Sir, I won't discuss Mrs. Gandhi.
No, that's all. Because that is agitating the minds of our readers.
Sir, please, I won't discuss.
So when problem seems to be a structural change, a suggestion for individual improvement, will it do?
Sir, first of all, what do you mean improvement? Improving what? Corruption? Becoming more and more proficient at corruption? I'm asking, when you say improvement, what do you mean by improvement?
No, I didn't say that. You were referring to the mind, understanding the mind, and then trying to change oneself.
Sir, please forgive me. I said, sir, you introduce self-knowledge, self-improvement. Right, sir? Now, first of all, what do you mean by self-knowledge? People have talked about it.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yes, sir. I don't know what they meant by it. What do you mean by it? Self-knowledge. Knowing oneself, right?
Yes.
That's what we are doing. Right? To know oneself means I can only find out in my actions, right? In my relationship. The relationship is the mirror in which I look. How I behave to my wife, to my children, if you have a servant, how do I behave? Am I callous, indifferent? Is there affection? You follow that? All that's revealed.
Suppose I am taking the first step, let's say I want to be independent, not hypocritical, absolutely incorruptible. Suppose I decide this.
Yes.
Suppose as a journalist, today I go and tell my editor that, look here, I'm going to be independent. No, I don't tell him, I behave. I say I will be independent.
What do you mean by that?
Not to be dictated, I mean, I wouldn't delegate my responsibilities to another person.
Oh, suppose, is it?
I mean, I decide.
Have you? You're playing with words, sir, please.
No, not only here. 24 hours we are playing with words. That is our trouble, sir.
No, but...
You're a journalist, and you're playing with words.
No, but to take the first step, how do I take the first step is what I'm asking. Why do we play with words?
Sir, words are not facts. Right?
Right.
I know, don't easily accept. This thing called microphone, right? The word is not that.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
The word is not that.
Words are arbitrary symbols of facts. They are not facts in themselves.
That's all. So, when we employ words, we are not facing facts. And we discuss at the verbal level and not at the factual level. The factual level is the society is corrupt and I have created it. That's a fact. And unless I, as a human being, wherever I live, see what I have done, and what I have done is I am corrupt, and I have produced that corruption. And we, right? Therefore, stop being corrupt. That's the first step, sir.
To be not corrupt, to be a person of integrity.
Integrity means, sir, to be whole. Right?
Right.
I know, not broken up. Say one thing, do another. Right? Use words which you don't mean.
Yes.
Don't say yes, sir, but you do. Sir, have you solved the problem? No. Why?
Because now the world does not it's not play of words, but even though some people have taken to the treatment of the doctor, the world as a whole is not taken it.
What
So,
is the world?
world consisting of
What is the world, sir? You say the world hasn't taken,
or this humanity.
which means what you?
Yes, part and part of
You are humanity, not part of it. You are.
We accept all those things, but in spite of it, the world has
Sir,
deteriorated.
the world is what
So
you,
what is the solution? That is exactly what.
the world is what you make of it. This is a fact.
Not everyone, not I.
Everyone, that I'm saying, you, everyone creates this monster. Right? And as you are part of that everyone, begin there. To go very far, so you must begin very near, which is you.
Has not anybody begun that? There must be
Huh?
there must be a number of people who have begun that and also
Have they?
transfer. Yes,
I don't know. It's not for me to say.
I say it, sir. There are a number of people who have changed, but in spite of it, society is deteriorating. That's why I'm asking why, and what can be done about it.
Yes.
The approach of individual transformation has been taking place, but it has not affected the vast majority of the people. That's the
All right,
problem.
sir.
That's the problem, sir.
Wait, sir. Has Hitler affected humanity? Of course he has affected humanity.
No, so much.
What do you mean?
No, he destroyed the whole world.
It has affected human mind.
No, yes,
Stalin has affected the human mind.
yes,
Mao Zedong,
yes,
the Buddha has affected the mind.
yes.
Right?
Why not you? Why not I? Want me to ask that question of myself?
No. So everybody affects each other,
Yes.
right? I'm affecting you now.
Yes, yes, you have been affecting us. Very much.
whether you like it or not, and I'm affecting.
Yes.
You may say, well, nonsense and throw it out, but I'm affecting.
Yes.
Right?
Sir, can I be very frank, sir?
Oh, do.
Krishnaji for the past 20 years has been carrying on dialogue with hundreds of people all over the world. Now that has had, I won't say it has had no effect, but it had effect on the listeners and those who carried on the dialogue with him. But in spite of it, it has not been able to arrest the deterioration in society.
So the society will always be corrupt as long as human beings are corrupt, full of stuff. Therefore, leave society alone and begin with yourself. This is a convenient way of saying society, society, society.
No, no, sir. I am assessing the impact of Krishnaji's approach on society.
Good luck to you then. Do it, sir.
No, in spite of it,
Sir, let's be very simple. There is this chaos in the world. What am I to do? Let's put it very simply. What am I to do? There is no love in this world, right? Right, sir? No affection, no care. What am I to do? All that I can do is to have affection, care.
that's right, sir.
That helps a tremendous lot. But you see, you won't have that. Do you love anybody? Do you care for anybody?
There are people.
I'm not.
I see the point.
What do I do with people who are not willing to be affected by it?
What, sir?
What do you do with people who are not willing to be affected by it?
Leave them alone.
See, there are so many people alone, that's why we
No,
have
I'm not
changed.
able to leave my wife alone, sir. And, for example, she goes her way.
Huh?
She has her own pattern of living. And unless she changes, it's always a conflict.
So what will you do?
No.
Well, just follow it, sir. To
Yes, I'm prepared to follow it, sir. I'm constantly adjusting myself because
I'm married.
yes, irretrievably.
Just a minute,
into
I'm going to take you.
Yes, yes.
I'm married.
Yes.
My wife and I are in conflict. Right? Why? She wants one thing and I want something else.
Yes, absolutely.
She wants to be ambitious, push, become fashionable, blah, blah, blah. And I say, please, I'm not interested in all that. So what am I to do?
I withdraw myself.
Wait, sir.
No.
What am I to do? That's what you're asking.
Yes, yes.
What am I to do? Either I say, good morning, I divorce you. Or, when I divorce, I go somebody else, some other woman. And the same problem arises. Right?
Yes.
So what shall I do? Come on, sir, you're all in this, faced with this. What will you do? Your wife, my wife, not yours.
No.
I'm not married.
Fine.
My wife says I must be worldly, money, position, clothes, all the rest of it. And I'm not that kind.
And accepted religion, tradition. More than this money and all that, where things get adjusted more easily, the acceptance of tradition, religion.
Yes, yes,
and
all that nonsense.
With which I
Yes,
don't
yes,
see eye to
I
eye.
include all that,
Yes.
include all that. What shall I do? Do I really love her? Come on, sir, answer.
I do.
Are you sure? You see, words again. You see, sir,
No, I'm
this is
prepared to
what
go
I'm-
with you, sir. Why are we not able to go with you?
Because I'm asking you, sir.
But why do you doubt?
No, we are not doubting. We are not able to go along and to find a solution for our problems. And we
You
so-
won't.
Huh?
You won't.
No, why do you say we won't, sir?
Because you don't love.
What does it mean, sir, to be in a state of love?
not in a state of love.
or be
What
loving.
the heck are you people
No, be
talking about?
loving. No, we may be wrong in expressing ourselves. What it is to love in that state of
Wait, sir.
clear demarcation
First-
of different values
Wait,
in
sir.
life.
No. First find out, do you love somebody? Doesn't matter what, a dog, a rock, a tree, the beauty of a sunset. Do you love something?
If I had not loved her, how would I have got on for 30 years, sir?
Because sex,
Yes.
you want to face the problem.
Yes.
Sex, comfort, cook, children.
No, all that is taken care of by the affluent people.
What?
All the, except sex maybe, children, house, material things are all taken care of. It becomes limited to a conflict of
Excellent.
interests or
Yeah.
psychological
So, sir,
interests.
how did that relationship take place? I'm the doctor, we are examining
Yes, yes.
not the symptoms, the
No,
cause.
no.
How did that relationship come into being?
Constant acceptance and
Oh,
compromise.
come on. What
No, I'm
what
prepared to
are
go
you
with you, sir.
saying?
No, I'm not playing with words, sir.
So at least there are three alternatives. See, if he loves her, he can change himself to her ways.
Will it? You see, you people, this is all theory.
Or he can change her to his ways.
She
or
won't.
separate from
She
her.
won't.
That's separate from her.
So you are saying divorce is the only way.
Yes, one of the three alternatives.
If you're
This is all intellectual
No, if you become,
game.
if we become very serious about it inside us,
Sir,
that means
I asked a question.
Yes, sir.
You're
I'm
not
prepared to answer.
answering my
No,
question.
we are not. We are prepared to answer any question, sir.
Right, I'm asking, how did my relationship with my wife begin?
Are you trying to say it was not by personal choice?
So your mother, grandmother, father, somebody arranged it.
No, I'm asking you whether you are implying that.
I'm not implying anything.
No, he
I
might,
will tell you. No,
What
since
is the nature of
we
the
are on the
question?
point, sir. It was say two people love each other and get married.
So I question, please, sir, have the goodness to listen. I'm just asking, before I marry that woman or that man, what is my feeling, my state of mind which says I must marry?
Attraction,
Huh?
attraction, mutual attraction.
Which means what? Now go on, sir, don't be shy.
I felt attracted to her. She felt attracted to me.
Which means what?
Physical. No. I don't know to explain further than
Oh
that.
yes, you can. What is you say attraction? What? Physical attraction?
No, also the
Wait, sir, for
her smile.
begin slowly. We're talking
Yes.
the grassroots,
Yes,
and
yes,
the gentleman
yes,
wants to find out.
Yes,
Is it physical attraction? Partly.
partly. Right.
Sexual attraction, which means that.
Yes, right.
And attracted because also you may be lonely.
Yes.
You want companion. Right? Are you following all this, sir?
Yes, I'm following.
So, what is all that based on? I have attraction, sexual, physical, lonely. I want a companionship. I want somebody to whom I can go to in my distress and complain. All that is involved. What does that all mean?
Acquisitiveness.
Huh?
Acquisitiveness. It all
Acquisit-
means that I'm indulging my acquisitiveness.
not acquisitiveness, sir.
Dependence on something.
What does that all mean? I am important, right? Not her. Oh, but this is all what I want. I want comfort, I want sex, I want somebody on whom I can rely, depend, which means what? My
I'm the
selfishness is more dominant.
Our selfishness and my selfishness combined.
That's all.
No. Now that combined state of situation, how
So
do I meet?
wait. This combined selfishness
Yes,
has produced this conflict,
yes.
right? You understand what we are
Yes,
saying?
yes, yes, absolutely. I'm able to see that, sir.
Huh?
I'm able to see that we are in that state of combined selfishness all the time.
All right.
Full stop.
Now, where there is selfishness, can they be loved?
No.
Huh?
No.
Why do you say no?
Because
Because you're in love with yourself, so you can't love somebody else. It's not possible.
No, it's not so easily.
Sir, selfishness is two selfish people joining together.
They can't join.
My God,
No,
sir.
it's a fact of life. We are all living like that.
No, it's a physical fact, that's all.
No, not only physical, social fact, everything.
I said that, sir.
Yes.
Physical, social, comfort,
Economic, everything.
money,
Yeah.
security, dependence, all that is a form of selfishness. Right? And I say, where there is selfishness, can the other exist? So, what will you do? Which is, sir, do you know what it means to love somebody? I question if you all know anything about it. That's why you are in this awful conflict with the world, with everything.
At this very moment I question myself whether I love anybody at all.
Yes.
I see the point.
So
But
that
sir, do you
means,
suggest
huh?
that marriage, say, is an institution of mutual selfishness?
He agrees to that.
No, I agree and I... Sir, let us go on and then complete it, at least if it is possible. We
If
don't want-
that gentleman is a bit doubtful about it. That is not selfishness.
No, I didn't doubt it.
So,
It's only
if there is any
an
announcement
organized
that
form
you
of
make it,
mutual
let us not
selfishness.
waste time.
Upon mutual dependence,
Right,
mutual exploitation,
right.
mutual
Give me something.
adjustment to living together. Right? Mutual, say, I go my way, ambitious, if I'm a politician, a businessman, if I'm a guru, I go my way, you go your way, but let's meet together. This is what's happening.
Yes, that's what has happened actually, sir.
This is happening.
And where do we move from there, sir?
Wait, sir. First see what is happening. Now, how has this happened? You understand? Ask my question, how has this happened? That I accept selfishness as the basis of relationship. Go on, sir, answer my question.
why have I become selfish? Let's say, suppose.
Why? Don't you know? It's the most easiest, convenient. It's society, your fathers, your mothers, the school, the college, the university, everything helps you to be selfish, to be self-centered. No? No, sir?
Right.
So, everything encourages me to be selfish. Right? And where there is selfishness, the other thing cannot exist. Right, sir?
The other thing is,
Huh?
Love.
which is,
Love.
Love.
but it's not, in a universal form of social relationship like marriage, can we base it on a noble emotion like love?
It's not what are you people talking about? Not noble, idealistic.
No, we have to take that selfishness. Only
Sir,
our selfishness should
sir,
come in the way
begin,
of-
sir. Do you love anything? What does that mean? To care. to see that it's properly educated, properly groomed, to care for something, sir, to care for a tree. You understand what it means? To look after it, to nourish it, to see plenty of sunshine. Do you care for that? For a tree even? Do you? No.
No.
Do you see when you are admitting that what's happened to your mind? That you care for nothing. And so, that is the calamity, sir. That is the crisis.
That's what I care for very little bit.
You care only for yourself and nothing else. And you want to improve society.
But why do we care for a tree? Is it not because it gives us shade or something?
No, sir, just loving it. Now wait a minute, sir. Has love a motive? If I love my wife because she gives me sex, is that love? She gives, if you give me food, money, position, I say I love you. Right? That's, you're playing politics there. Is that
It's
love?
a kind of contract.
Huh?
But is it not a social contract? Certain responsibilities, certain rights.
Well, how do you begin responsibility? Certain social contract. What a lovely word. Huh? That I have a contract with my wife. So what are you saying?
But in practice, doesn't it become necessary for my food, clothes and shelter
Which?
to enter into contracts with my employer, with
Oh,
the agriculture?
so your wife is your employer?
No, not my wife. I am not in a position yet to talk about conflicts with my wife.
No, you will be.
But I can talk about now with conflicts with my employer or with other people, my father.
Ah, wait. Do you love your father?
No, you should answer.
You can't, sir.
No.
No. Have you told him? Do you know what would happen? So, does love go with fear?
No.
No.
Because I'm afraid of
Sir,
telling.
if it doesn't go, don't be afraid. If you really want to find out what love is, don't be afraid of anything.
But are we not using very abstract terms?
Not in the least, sir. This is the most common thing. If I love you, I don't want a thing from you.
But is it not one-sided? Why should anybody love anybody without any expectation?
I'm asking if you feed me, is that, and I say I love you, is that love?
It may not be love, but it is a workable arrangement in society.
So, all right. Social contract agreed upon two people, man and woman, is a convenient arrangement to breed children, to have sex, right? If your whole structure of living is based on that principle, you understand? You have produced a rotten society. That's what you have done. We go to the temples full of devotion, which is nothing. God will give you something.
Social contract.
Social contract with God. with your gurus. I give you a garland, give me a little bit. So, what is this? It's all merchandise. And you call that love? So I'm asking, sir, is love dead in India? In India, I'm asking, because we are here.
Yes, it's dead.
See what you are saying, sir? Without love, there is no morality. Without love, there is no beauty. Cannot have aesthetic way of living. So if you deny all that, you have produced this rotten society.
How are we going to remove the cause?
So don't have a motive when you are related to somebody.
How do I begin to discard my motives?
How do you
How do I begin to discard my motives?
find out your motive? Have you a motive talking to me?
No.
Oh yes, you have.
Yes.
You are
Getting a story.
huh?
No.
Motive of getting a story.
Story, being paid, going to the editor. So you have a motive.
Yes.
He says he has none.
No, because I need not have come, but I came.
Oh, come on.
But sir, it is said through the ages, philosophers have done a lot to analyze the world. We haven't done much to change the world.
And sir,
Change yourself and the world is changed by you. That's what you have been saying.
you are the world. Change.
The world is changed for us, the person who has changed. So for us, he is concerned. Obviously.
Is that enough, sir?
I got the answer, sir.
What, you have the answer?
No, I got the answer.
What's that?
Leave society alone and
Begin with yourself.
Leave society and begin.